This video is brought to you by Alienware, featuring Intel Core i7 processors. Start gaming.
Hey guys, Jack here, and today we're going to be looking at peeking in CSGO. There's a couple of very interesting demonstrations and tips in here, and when you know them, it's definitely going to help to improve your game. And before we start, this video is sponsored by Alienware gaming laptops. If you want to check those out, there's a link you can click on in the description below. So if you've been playing Counter-Strike for a long time, or if you're just getting pulled in by its seductive charms, a term that you've most likely heard of is peeking. Peek here, don't peek, shoulder peek. But what does it all mean? Well, when you're popping out to check an angle or position where you think an enemy player might be, you're peeking that angle. What's important is knowing when to peek, of course, but also how to peek. You may be thinking to yourself, well, surely you just run or walk around the corner, what more could there be to it? Well, there are some finer things you need to know that could help you in the long run. Firstly, you need to be aware of how close you are to the wall when you peek. Let me show you an example using short on Dust 2. We've got one CT sat next to the stairs watching short, and we've got a terrorist who's about to walk around close to the wall. What you will see is that the CT actually can not only see the terrorist before the CT is even visible on the terrorist screen, but can also shoot him and kill him, even with a headshot. And this is because the terrorist is so close to the wall that the wall is blocking his field of view. So in this situation, the CT has a big advantage. Now if we do that again, but the terrorist this time takes a wider angle and further back from the wall, they've got a far more even battle, and they'll spot each other roughly at the same time. The terrorist may even see the CT first in some circumstances. Even when close to a wall, it's still possible of course that the terrorist may react fast enough to get the kill, but against good players it makes no sense to be putting yourself at a disadvantage. Another point to make is that if you're forced to go close to a wall or object when you're peeking, make sure that you do it fast. The faster movement negates some of the negative effects of being so close, but you'll still be at a small disadvantage. The same problem applies if you're at long. If you're a CT holding long, the closer you stand to the wall when you peek, the more chance the terrorist has of seeing you first if they're in the long doors. Instead, take a wider angle to make it a fairer fight. If you do peek long with maybe an AWP, then peek it from as far back as you can to give yourself the biggest field of view. Can you still get killed? Of course you can, but at least you're giving yourself a better chance. Also, be aware that crouching can make a big difference. In most circumstances, it might not affect you, but it's important to know. On some of the character models, the head actually leans to the right when you crouch, or the left if you're looking straight at it. And so, if you're behind some cover that's to your left, your head will actually stick out. If, however, you've got cover to the right of you, then your head is going to be covered. And it's better to crouch than stand, because standing will actually expose your head ever so slightly, and small things like this are very useful to know. They all add up. And what else is there to know about peeking? Well, have you ever heard the term shoulder peek and wondered what it meant? Well, it's basically popping out a shoulder around a corner really quick to see if an enemy takes the bait and shoots. It also allows you to get a look and take a fast peek to see if you can spot an enemy. If there is someone there, then there's always a chance they could react fast enough and get you. But if you're fast enough with the strafe in and out, you can gain some information, and if the enemy has an AWP, he might end up taking a shot missing, and that's going to give you an opening. And finally, I'm going to leave you with another example of peeking B tunnels close to the tunnel wall, and hopefully this will really help the way you play and get you thinking about where you're playing and how you're checking certain places and angles. Are you getting killed and wondering how the enemy even saw you when you didn't see them? Well, this probably explains it. So there we go guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope this little tip helped. It does actually make a big difference when you start thinking about this stuff, and as I just said, it all adds up in the long run. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video guys, and I'll see you in the next one.